Hi there, folks. Welcome to Office Hours for November. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to those of you in the United States joining us today, and happy Black Friday to those of you just out here shopping for the deals. My name is Andrew. I am the community manager. Welcome to Office Hours. Excuse me there. I am the community manager here at Voices. Little double trouble there with the audio, but it's all fixed now. I am the community manager here at Voices. I am here to talk to you today, but a little bit of a holiday gift guide, as it is, of course, the most famous shopping day of the year. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Nate, in the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free, throw them in the chat there. We will get to those as well. Going to be a pretty interesting hour of conversation, or so. It is Friday. It is Black Friday after all, so if we got to here a little bit early, I won't tell anybody if you don't. But a lot of cool things to go through today. Going to show you some microphones, going to show you some ideas for, if you are a voice talent, or if you know a voice talent, if you know somebody who is interested in upgrading some equipment or making some changes or adding to their quiver of tools that they use in the VO world. We're going to go into some of that stuff, some of the things you can look for, some of the things you should focus your money on, and then hopefully you get out there and we'll say mostly online, find those tools that you would like to bring into your recording space or your editing space or whatever it may be. Bring those things into your home. A little bit about me. I'm the community manager here at Voices. I am the letters behind the social media posts, our community forum, which you can visit anytime you'd like to talk about anything you would like. Community.voices.com, putting it in the chat right there. You just stop by and pop in there. You can talk about tech. You can talk about get peer feedback. You talk about our podcasts. Vox Talk comes out every Friday, hosted by Stephanie Cicerelli. She does a great job giving you the latest news and details. Episode 99 went out this morning. Some really cool stories. She really has her finger on the pulse of the voiceover industry as well. You can talk about audio production, music, translation, anything you can get here on voices.com. You can talk about it in the Voices community forum. Let's get a little bit into the topic at hand today. We are, of course, talking about a holiday gift guide. And, there's a lot of different ways you can approach your personal setup, your personal audio recording space. I am not a professional voice actor. I do some podcasting on the side. I do some live streaming on the side. So I'm somebody who has made some small investments. I'm currently using a Rode pod mic. I have a Focusrite Scarlett 2nd generation solo. I can't show it to you, of course, it's plugged into my microphone, but it is my audio interface that I am using, as well as some streaming software, a Logitech C922 webcam that I use. That's all stuff for the price range that I'm at and the work that I'm doing, which is, again, not to professional level. I'm not submitting auditions. I'm not submitting those sorts of things. That's not really the place that I'm swimming in. But I do have a lot of resources to share with you folks today, and things to show you, and things that we're going to go over in how to properly build out your space and properly put together what you should be looking for in the price ranges. And honestly, really importantly, I think to talk about today is where you can be a little more budget conscious, to put it in a so frank a way, where you should be really deciding to go with the top end that you can possibly doing, and where you can decide, maybe it's not that important to have all the bells and whistles. So we have some great resources available, as I said, on the Voices blog. I'm going to link those in the chat while I talk to you folks. Very excited. Dara says, hi, awesome. Just got a microphone now, looking at everything else. That's great. We're going to go into that everything else as well today. We are going to start a little bit with microphones. Just put a link there in the chat. That's where it's frugal. Thank you, Nate. That's exactly the word I was looking for, is frugal. We're going to start off with microphones. Actually, no, pardon me. We're going to start off with budgeting. I got my order of operations wrong there. We are going to start with budgeting. Our first tip is get the best microphone that you can afford. That's the one thing that is going to set, more than anything, the first thing that's going to really set that bar really high for you and really give yourself the depth and the range and the quality of audio that you're looking for. The first and foremost thing is your microphone. You can buy a great You can buy the best audio interface in the world. You can buy all the recording equipment you want. If you don't have the right microphone, it's not going to get to the level that you really need it to do. So as it says here, it's easy to be overwhelmed. It's easy to be not sure where to start. The first thing is the microphone. Spend a bit of money is our expert. We went through this with Bob Breen, Armor Pro Audio. He's linked in the chat there. Get the best one that you can afford. We're going to go into a little more specifics. Just want to start off with, talking about where you want to start, and where you do want to start your shopping is with that microphone, and make sure that you are getting everything that you need from that microphone. And it's easy to say, get the best microphone you can afford. I know, I understand. Easy for me to say that, but what examples, what specifics, what are we looking for in terms of that microphone? We have, luckily here at Voices, we do have, all the talent catalog with the equipment they use, so we get a pretty good idea of what kind of microphone people are using, what kind of brands they're working with, what our most popular interfaces are. We have all that information because people do a really good job of filling out their profiles and giving us that information, and it helps build out an idea of what some of the more popular tech is in these spaces. I'm going to go through a quick list here that you can find. It's a list from the beginning of this year, the best voiceover microphones for the year. These are the most popular brands that we see on our site. Not all of them are built the same, and this is of course difficult to say while you are shopping online, especially, is knowing what exactly is the right one for you. There are links within this for helping you find the proper microphone. We're going to go through a list of what the most popular brands and what the top brands we see here on Voices are. Number one, the Rode NT1A, a reliable microphone, one of the world's most popular brands. Nate, you absolutely nailed it there. Perfect guess. You absolutely are possibly right on. It's an industry standard. It is the first one that you are probably going to look at. It's a quality microphone. You can also get a USB version, but I think, for what we are doing here, it's really the top of the class. That really is the one that we see the most use out of. A cardioid condenser. It really is the industry standard is, I think the word that I would use for this. It delivers warmth, some really extended dynamic range, clarity, some really high SPL capability. It really is a quality microphone. We also see a lot of the Audio-Technica AT2020, which I will say is nearly the microphone that I bought before I went with the Rode Podcaster. The Pod mic. This one retails Canadian for about $129. I think you can find it, Black Friday deals. You'll probably find it around the $120 Canadian. Dara says that's the one that was gifted. There you go. Absolutely correct. It's an XLR cardioid condenser as well. Really, Audio-Technica, they have a really long history of producing really quality equipment, and this is no exception to that. It's a really high quality that does, this is sort of I don't want to say it's more of a budget, but it's a little less than the ones you will see in some of the other places. It's a really affordable microphone. $150 for a microphone that is industry standard is really all you can ask. You can, of course, up that if you'd like to. The Rode NT1A it retails for about $350 Canadian, maybe $400 Canadian, depending on where you're getting it. I see it $270 in a Black Friday deal, so you can get it. But if you're looking for entry level, if you're looking to just start out, that Audio-Technica AT2020 is a very quality microphone. It is as well the cardioid condenser. You're going to have to be directional with it. You're not I can speak in any direction to this one. The AT2020, you're going to have to be a lot more direct, and you're going to have to learn a little bit about how your voice travels and a little bit about where you're properly setting it up. But put into the proper room, put into the proper places, it is a really quality microphone. Number three is the VO1A Harlan Hogan Signature Series. It is designed specifically for voice acting by Harlan Hogan, who is a legend in the business. A large diaphragm FET condenser. It is designed, as I said, specifically for voiceover, which really does make it stand out. It's really is the NT1A. So you got a quality microphone gifted to you. That is a really, really quality microphone. The VO1A Harlan Hogan series, it goes for about $450 Canadian. It's it's an expensive microphone. We are sort of going up the ranks here in terms of your budget, but tailored again to the unique needs of voiceover. You are getting sort of in the road world, in the AT2020. They are sort of multi-use mics. They can pick up audio vocals for music or what have you. But this is specifically a VO mic, and it is also a really beautiful microphone. I'm going to say as well, it's beautifully designed. It's got a nice case, a nice shock mount. It's everything you would possibly need. Jade Coyote says, I have a Blue Yeti. Another excellent choice, and what a lot of people start out with. I think that USB mic is a great way to get yourself into the space, to get yourself into the rhythm of doing voice acting, to get yourself into recording studio and getting yourself your home setup started. It's a great place. I had a Blue Yeti for a really long time, a really quality, durable microphone that I ended up having to part ways with my podcast partner. He now has it out of no sour grapes, but I wish I had it back. I then opted for an XLR mic that had a audio preamp that I could adjust the gain on a little bit sharper and get a little stronger, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Blue Yeti. Nate says, I love my Synchro Mic D2, the MKH 416 copy. That is, you really do see the 416. It's something that, or the 416, something that, in talking to a lot of our high-end talent, in our weekly meetings with our talent, the Sennheiser MK416 is also a very popular one for more lower end, that low self noise, that really that tube style microphone. I see a lot of talent, along with the two Neumann TLMs, the 103 and the 102. The 103 is the top choice. It is a really beautiful microphone, that really large diaphragm, large noise reduction, and it really reduces those pops, those plosives, if you will. The Neumann TLMs are two beautiful microphones. The 102 a little smaller, has the built-in shield, and it does result, as it says here, in silky vocals. The Sennheiser MK16, that is a serious piece of equipment. Kudos to you. I know you said you had the copy, the shotgun copy, but the Sennheiser, if you're wondering, the MK416, about $1,300 Canadian. So we're talking about the top of the top of the tops. People who have really started to take that next step in their career. That is where, once you're learning your advanced level stuff, once you're learning some of the deeper depths of how your audio needs to sound and how to change it, and when you're doing your audio editing, that's where your level. The Neumann TLM 103 is also about $1,450 Canadian. As much as $1,600. So it's expensive microphones. We're talking the top of the end. The 102, a little closer to $900 Canadian. But again, still you're really getting up and up and up compared to where we started here, right? With the AT2020 about 120, the Rode NT1A about 250. Then you get all the way. You get to the VO series is about 400. The Neumann gets you to 300 to 800, and again that Sennheiser $1,400. Any my suggestions for closet setups? Maybe VO shotguns. Yeah, I mean, it is all about your budget. You can probably get by with most of these. That MK416 copy, that low noise is booking you jobs, which is all you can ask out of a microphone. Is that it helps you book jobs. In that article that I linked, there is a ton of other great information. I'll go through it here. We have YouTube videos here. We have all kinds of stuff on the Voices of blog, voices.com/blog. If you are interested, all kinds of stuff about more of this tech and more of these setups. We have some information about how to choose the best mic, how to test your microphone, things to stay away from, frequency response, all of these things, USB microphones, testing, comparing. Randy does a great job here on the YouTube channel. Drop us a subscribe while you're here. Check those out. And the importance of preamps. There's really more and more stuff you can find on that Voices blog to get all that information. So, number one tip, we went through it. We said, get the best microphone for your voice that you can afford. We have gone through 5 or 6 selections on microphones there. You should be able to find something that you like. Again, those are just sort of our 6 most popular models. You can also go the Blue Yeti route, Blue Snowball. If you're looking for really under $100, the Blue Snowball is about $80. You're not going to have nearly the control of your audio. You're not going to have nearly the preamp, the pre-gain. You're not going to be able to customize your sound that way, and you're not going to have the same depth and the same richness. But if you're just trying to get on the board, if you're just trying to get demos done, if you're just trying to get your voice out there, it's a great place to start. But I think eventually you are going to want to make that upgrade. Thank you, Edwin. You keep on shining too, my friend. Our second tip here is you can skimp on the audio recording software, especially if you are on a budget, if you are first starting out. Obviously, the most important thing is that it records your audio with high quality. You want to be able to have high quality, and the bigger jobs you start to book and the more you start to book, the more you're going to want to be able to edit your audio in post, to learning about normalizing, learning about noise reduction, learning about all those things. A good proper microphone will help with a lot of that stuff, but you may find yourself in a space later on where you have to do some post editing, you have to do some normalization, you sort of have to start doing these things. But you are able, if you need to not worry too much about the software, because there are a lot of incredible options in software. It's all about your budget range. It's all about your needs. So we go through what these different softwares is, all these different questions to ask yourself. Here's our 5 most popular recording software brands on the Voices network. Number 1 is Audacity, which is free. Or pardon me. Number 1 is Audition, which is $20.99 a month. I use Audition in my personal life for all my audio work. I'm familiar with it. I was using it all the way back when it was Cool Edit Pro, which is dating myself, but I've been using it for a really long time. I find it really intuitive. I find the plugins really powerful. I find the tools really easy to work with. And it's a really standard sort of thing. It works well with video, of course. It's working with the entire the entire Adobe suite. Things like Premiere, things like Rush. I do a lot of social media work, so having that audio that works with other programs is really important. It is, of course, a subscription fee. If you are somebody that says, I am starting out, I don't even know if I can book work yet, I need to learn the basics first. Audacity, as you see there, 26%. 26% of a lot of people. A lot of people on Voices. 26% of them are using Audacity, which is a free program. It is a little more basic. There are some things you can do. You can normalize. You can do some audio tricks. But in general, it's a free program. You're pressing record. You're getting your vocals. You're sending your stuff off. It is sort of that very, very easy. Up next is Pro Tools, which is you're starting to get a little more advanced. You're starting to get a little more into the in-depth. You're starting to get a little bit more into some extreme plugins, reducing mouth noises, all those sort of things. Pro Tools is, I believe it started out as music software. I believe it's sort of a music program that a lot of voice actors are turning to because it is so powerful, because it does have so many uses, and when paired with sort of the proper vocal audio interface and all that other stuff, it is sort of it can be a really powerful tool. Don't forget Reaper. Reaper is absolutely correct. I was going to bring that up in the other section. Reaper is something that we are seeing, especially in the last year and a half. People are really starting to glom onto because it has some really cool features. I know that Randy, who does our YouTube videos here normally, is a guy who uses a ton of Reaper. And he's really good at it. Has a bunch of instructional stuff. If you're looking for stuff on Reaper, check it out here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/voices. There's a ton of really cool things you can find on there. Logic as well. I mean, listen, Logic and Pro Tools, it's a little more expensive. We're talking $280 USD, but compared to you start subscribing to something like Audition, it ends up being a little more expensive. And lastly, Garageband, which is free on your Mac. Very similar to the Audacity, very simple. You press record, you plug your stuff in, bada bing, bada boom. There's your recording interface. If you don't feel that you need to do a ton of work, if you really trust in your equipment, if you really trust in a great microphone, you really trust in your audio interface, you can go straight to record. You can do Audacity, you can do GarageBand. It is not, again, not totally necessary that you break the bank on any of this bigger equipment. I think it is important to remember that, and important to know that. from this point of view is you do want to be able to do that stuff, but you sort of have to get the microphone right first, and then your audio interface and where you're editing it isn't as important. So here's just some of the details, some of the pros and cons on some of these. As we said, these free ones here, you can find tutorials anywhere. Talking about Reaper, as you said, it really is getting praised a lot for its comprehensiveness. It's a lower price point, very compatible. $60 for discounted license, crazy, great deal. So if you're ready to get the education and learn and put the time in, Reaper is a great option for you. There's Audition, as I said, which is what I use. Tons of options. You can use a free trial, but you are subscribing to it. That is probably the one thing that I don't love about it, is the monthly subscription. But again, if you're professional, if you're a voice actor, this is stuff that not financial advice, but you could write it off. Hypothetically, Pro Tools, it's a production software, as I said, for musicians, but because it's so widely used, it is a good tool for voice actors. It is the industry standard for recording software packages, and it can be a little complicated. If you learn it, it can be very, very beneficial, but it can be a little bit complicated. Speaking of complicated, look at this from Logic. The most advanced one. You can have very sophisticated songwriting, beat making, editing, mixing, all that sort of stuff. If you're a musician, it is the place to go. You're going to find a lot of tutorials. There's also SoundForge, which is also a very advanced. It is one that requires purchasing. Free trials are available if you're going for that. But find something that works for you. Find something that sort of fits into. There's Cubase. You can go on and on. There's a lot of different options here. We went through what our 5 most popular ones, and obviously the most important thing is that it is something that works for you. Our next tip: get a great set of headphones. This is one that I will admit I am not following very well. A great set of headphones to be able to really hear your audio, get that depth, get the unwanted mouth noises, the explosives, any other interference in your audio recordings. I will admit, I'm not going to pull them up right now, but I'm using Apple iPod headphones, the wired kind too, not even the AirPods, not even the cool AirPods. I am very basic in that way, and it is. I will say this, and we'll see who's listening in my house. I could go for a headphone upgrade. That's one thing. As my wife laughs, I could use a headphone upgrade, and I also use a gaming headset, which is not what you want to do. A really quality pair of headphones is something that you will be able to hear exactly how your voice sounds, which I know sounds obvious, right? It sounds obvious. You're going to want to be able to hear your own sound, but it is something that it's important to be able to take that depth, and you're recording with depth. You're asking your clients to really appreciate the depth and really get to those levels of the voice quality that you are putting in there. You really want to make sure that that's coming across and that is audible. So there's a lot of different places depending on your price range, depending on your budget. Bose, the noise canceling 700s over ear, perfect headphone for versatile use indoor or outdoor. Really incredible features. I'm not a huge fan of the wireless. It's something that I'm not crazy about. Easy to control, premium quality though. They do have good battery life. They do not fold into compact formats, though. Another good pick, a premium pick, the Beyerdynamic DT 1990 Pro Open Studio. Yeah, the 1990 or the 770. Some really nice high-end headphones, over-ear, circumoral sound coupling. Really nice natural range. Hello from the West Coast. Hello. La Porsche Belcher and Jay Cody loves the Bose. They are quality headphones. Something about the wireless has never been the thing for me, but I love to hear that. And they are a top pick. depending on where you are going, you're really getting premium sound quality with the 1990s from Dynamic DT. Really quality. For neutral sound, the 880 from the same line, the Dynamic DTs, exquisite build quality. The Audio Technica ATH M60 closed back dynamic professional headphone studio monitors. Really low profile, really nice compact design, detachable cables, versatile use. Not suitable for like heavy metal music, but that should be totally fine. I'll tell you, if you've seen, I will say the headphones that I've seen the most in the wild are the Shure. I think they're the 840s, the SRH 840s. Really quality, a little less durable than the ATH M60. But you can replace the earpods, you can replace the cable, portable design, professional quality sound. Maybe the material not exactly the top of the tops, but the Shure makes a ton of great audio equipment. The Shure SM58 is probably the go-to like music microphone, lead singer microphone. The stand-up comics, a lot of music. The Shure SM58. Another great one. We mentioned this microphone, the Harlan Hogan voiceover microphone. You can also get the Harlan Hogan voiceover headphones. Harlan Hogan with the whole line of voiceover specific stuff. A really accurate transfer sound and long-lasting convenience when an artist needs it most. Again, unfortunately you can't separate the cable and they're not super easy to prepare, but really accurate reproduction of the sound, budget-friendly, strong build. They're pretty quality headphones. If you're looking for maybe a little more budget-friendly, along those lines, the Nyman HE400 SE Stealth, they're over ear as well. I'm really got to say that you want to be able to do over ear when you're talking about voiceover headphones. You really want to have the whole ear experience. Buds, you're just not going to get the same audio quality. You're not going to get the same range. You're not going to hear mid and treble nearly as well. Pure sonic output from the Hi-Fi Man HE400 SE, the Stealth Magnet over-ear wired headphones. Another good pick, the Philips Audio Fidello X2HR. Wish those were in the chat. I could look them up later. I'll toss you a link here that I found pretty helpful. Here's a great pick. I'll throw that for you there. Headphoneday.com. They put together a really nice list. AKG makes good headphones. Pro Audio, the K371. Harlan Hogan equipment. I will find you a link for those as well. The Harlan Hogan headphones. I found the. Here's a great spot. Here you go. VoiceOverEssentials.com has your Harlan Hogan. The headphones, they go for about $130, so it's similar with the microphones. You can go up as high and low as you possibly need to do, but the Harlan Hogan stuff is made specifically for voiceover, so it has that sort of thing in mind. That really is exactly what they're built for. You're going to get exactly that. There's some other things for field recording, but you've probably seen, if you've been in a recording studio, you've probably seen the Sony MDR 750s, those with the cups and this curly wire. I remember I used those in audio school all the time, all the way back from the 90s, very 90s vibes with the Sony MDRs. They fold, they're rugged, great sound production. The cable does not detach, but so it goes. And if you really want quality workmanship, and I think you mentioned these earlier, Nate, the Sennheiser HD280, really quality headphone. It's a really nice, it's worth the price. The foldable, they reproduce sound beautifully. I find my ears get a little hot, but that's because my head gets hot when I talk too much. And you can go up and up, but basically the gist of this saying is, you can get pretty good headphones for about $100, $130, depending on how much of your budget you want. But the important thing to take out of this is get a quality pair of headphones. Get something that works for you. Read reviews, go through it, invest in yourself for success. Absolutely correct, LaPortia. Invest in your microphone, invest in your headphones. Be able to record your voice and be able to hear your voice in an honest way. That's what's really important, I think, is to have that ability to, and I'll say this, not just for your equipment, but and I think the way you put that is perfectly. Invest in yourself for success, but also, be open to listening to yourself in a critical way, if that makes sense, right? Take it seriously in that you always have room to improve. You always have new skills to add. You always have things to add to your skill set, whether it be learning a new audio editing trick or upgrading some hardware or whatever it may be. That ability to listen to yourself in an honest way and honestly assess your skills, honestly assess your strengths, that'll help you not just in buying equipment, but it'll help you know which roles to audition for. It'll help you know which characters you're well suited to play. It'll help you do all of those things. Nate says he got the set of the 990s for $95. I gotta tell you, I'm listening to that. 990s for $95. About $100 is sort of where I, in a personal, that's sort of where I like to play around in that field. I think this was $129. I'm pretty sure my Focusrite was about $129. So that 150-ish range, as I continue to sort of grow some of the podcasts and some of the audio I'm working on, you want to invest your earnings from that back into the product, but you also want to keep pace with where you are. You don't want to overexert yourself. I think that's really important, but I think Nate Rick's great point with that, being able to get those for $95. We move into our next tip for budgeting your home studio. You can save on speakers. If you want to have speakers, if you think speakers is worth it for you and you have a really cool setup, I say go nuts. If you have good headphones, you don't really need the speakers unless you're bringing people in or you're having live sessions with a producer. Generally, the speakers aren't that important. Nate, where can I get one of those Voices shirts? You know what? Send a DM to the Voices Twitter account, and I will see if I can get you an answer to that. They gave me this because they hired me. That's where I got the Voices sweater, is by working. I got a hat too, not to brag. But you can save on speakers. You don't really need speakers. I haven't had speakers on a computer in as long as I can remember. If you are building out a full studio, if you're going to have, maybe approach coaching, if you're going to approach, having some people come to your studio, have some things you're playing for people, have some things you're demoing for people. If you're a musician, then you're probably going to want to have speakers, of course, because the way that your music sounds on speakers and the way that it sounds on headphones, you want to make sure it sounds good for both. But not super important that you blow the bank on your speakers. I know that I have an audio bar for my television because I watch TV all the time, and it's, TV, video games, movies, whatever it may be. You want that extra sound quality. But working on my computer, doing podcasts, doing audio, doing voice work, you're almost entirely I'm doing headphones with that. Your clients are probably going to be listening to it on headphones, so making sure that's optimized for a quality pair of headphones is more important than buying speakers. As it says here in the post, 80% of what you hear anyway is going to be room noise. So really not as important that you blow the bank on your speakers. If you can, if you need to, if you want to, you can buy used for a lot of this stuff. As long as the physical condition is good, microphones especially, a quality microphone is a quality microphone is a quality microphone. You never know, especially with other voice actors who are leveling up, who are saying, I've had a great time with this mic, but I'm going for that Sennheiser 416. I'm spending the $1,500. Maybe you can grab a Neumann, the 103. Maybe you can get it for $500 instead of $800. This is where that community is really important, and paying attention in that way is really important. But as it says here, a brand like Shure, like Neumann, it's going to be a good microphone for basically forever. I saw a video before. You can shoot a Shure SM58 with a 38 caliber rifle and it'll still work. They're quality microphones. Obviously, buyer beware when you're buying used, but some of this stuff you can cut down on a little bit of costs if that is where you are shopping in. Of course, ask questions. If you're talking to somebody that is selling the Neumann 103, ask them what they used it for. If they only used it for voice, a very good chance it's going to be still in good condition. Don't blame me if it's not, but there's a very good chance that it could be. So let's talk a little bit about what all should be, and we have a really cool graphic I want to bring up here. What all should be in your home studio interface and your digital audio workspace. I guess we haven't gone through a ton of what the interfaces can be or should be. I'll go through a little bit. As I said, I use a Focusrite Scarlett 3rd generation 2i2. It cost me about $160. I use the 3rd generation 2i2. There are a ton of options. This is one of those things. There are a ton, depending on how big you want to get. If you want to buy a huge board because you're plugging in instruments, you're plugging in preamps, you're plugging in all kinds of stuff, you can do that. I'm going to focus on some of the smaller stuff, basically solos and maybe 2 amps max. I don't think you need to do much bigger than that. Maybe if you're if you're a musician, if you're going really big, you can do. There's the Audident ID4 for about $199. It's a Class A preamp for clear and defined vocals. Very compact. Only has 1 mic preamp. Again, depends what you're using it for. I'm using mine for voice work and for podcasting, so I sort of have to have some extra outlets. There's the PreSonus Studio 24C, goes for about $150. 2 microphone preamps, up to 190 hertz sample rate. Really nice LED meters on the front. It's a quality piece. You get it's not the most intuitive hardware. Some of the hardware can be a little tricky. The PreSonus Studio 24, not great for beginners or folks who aren't crazy tech savvy. It can be a little challenging to learn on this stuff. There's also the Universal Apollo Twin MK2. It's about $800. It's a really nice piece of machinery. It's really beautiful. High range, lots of tonal possibilities, very high quality, low latency UAD plugins. The downside, if you have an older computer, it's a Thunderbolt connection only, which I use almost exclusively now, as that's what a lot of new things have been built with. There have been some reported latency issues on some non-UAD plugins, but just an idea of sort of there's range for every price range and every sort of place. This is, if you don't know, the interface is what takes lift this up, what takes this XLR microphone and puts it into the USB outlets on your computer. You can do the Blue Yeti, you can do the Blue, I think AT Audio Technica does USB mics. You can plug directly, but if you want a little bit more richness, if you want a little bit more control, you're going to want that audio interface to go from an XLR mic directly into your computer. So you're starting with your audio interface, you're getting your headphones. This one here is recommended, the PreSonus Audio Box. I've had some really good success with my Focusrite Solo. I really like it. I'm really glad I made the investment. I made that upgrade. And then, of course, it's that DAW, that software, what you're going to use. We went over this. You can use Audacity for free. You can use Garageband for free, or you can make that upgrade. Go to Pro Tools, go to Reaper, go to Audition if you feel you are ready for that level. And microphones, this is where you are going to want to make sure you are budgeting properly and you are getting the right piece for your voice. What type do you want? Depends on your needs and your budget. We went through a ton of great options. I really think it's probably the most fun one to buy, to be honest with you. It's the one the real tech files seem to really have the most fun talking about and building into. It really is the one that's going to make your voice sound richer and more dynamic and really be something that sets you apart. So there's a lot of different options depending on how affordable you want this all to be. We talked about headphones. You can go all the way from $40 all the way up to a couple $100 if you need to. Some recommendations here: the AKGs, the Audio Technica M20s, the Shure 240s, the AKG 240s, and I remember in the chat the Bear Dynamics 990s and the Sennheiser HD280s. Dave asked, will this be posted to YouTube after the live session ends? You had better believe it, Dave. It's not going anywhere. This stays on the page immediately following. You can watch it all weekend. We're going to put it out on the social medias as well to make sure that it has some rewatch. Monitors, speakers, again, we talked about this, not super important, especially if you're just starting to build your budget. You're just starting to build out your career. You're just starting to get your footing. You're starting to learn and grow. You really don't need speakers until you get to a little bit bigger place. Extra stuff, a pop filter, a microphone stand. Obviously you're going to want an arm. You're going to want it supported somehow. Shock mounts. I have that there. This arm has been very important because before I had a very small stand for my blue snowball on it, leaning over. Absolutely terrible. What's important now, and I want to get this before we move on and before we close this out and maybe do a little bit of Q&A, is making sure you are soundproofing your room. You sort of forget. There's a lot of different ways to do this depending on how much you want your budget to be on this. You can go all the way into buying a whisper room, which is we're going to go to soundproofing. There you go. You nailed it exactly, Edwin. We are going to talk about soundproofing. We have a piece on the website. I will bring it up here for you folks about making a whisper room replica. There are a lot of ways to go about this. You can record in your closet. You can record in a room with blankets. You can cover yourself in blankets. You can do whatever you need to do. But there are ways to build a replica on a budget. We're not doing the egg cartons. We're gonna here's just a look. Here's just a look at what a whisper room setup can look like. This is from a voice actor. Mark Hayes set this along. This is a whisper room lookalike. A little bit of just, you got his computer set up there and some wires, and then everything inside is soundproof. This depends on how much you want to put into this in terms of time. What matters to you? Does it matter if it's easy? Does it matter if it's ventilated? Does it matter if it has high quality? Think about it. As with anything, measure thrice, cut once. Do tons and tons and tons of research on this one. But yeah, it's something that building these these rooms and building the spaces in your house, it's only going to help you find that peace of mind, get you into the mind space to helping get into a professional place with your work. You can buy soundproof panels and sort of make it your extra closet. I've seen closets. If you have a walk-in closet, if you have a guest bedroom, you can make a little corner of your guest bedroom that has soundproofing on the walls. Again, you can hang curtains, all of those sorts of things. Jade asks, how do I use my pop filter? A pop filter, very simply, is something, I don't have one on here right now because this is a little more freestyle. I'm not setting up and getting very into my zone, but a pop filter is something that very simply, it connects to the microphone stand. It then sits in between your voice and the microphone, just to cut down on those plosives, on those popped P's, on extra voice noise. It's just an extra filter for the sound to go through. So the simple way to put it, you just clip it onto the microphone arm and slide it in front of the microphone slot. All the audio will continue to go through, but you won't have, not sure what the word for it is, but that the physical wavelength of the audio coming out of your mouth won't hit the microphone and rattle it, and you won't get pops. You won't get those little things, mouth noises, those little small things that can really show up on a recording that maybe you don't think of until you have your headphones on or until you have a really high quality audio piece of equipment. And what about unconventional soundproofing tips? We have a neat blog I just linked in there. If you don't want to buy a full-on pop filter, which I don't blame you, you could use a sock. You could use a nylon robe. You could use whatever you need to do it. So let's talk about soundproof room in your home. Pretty important sort of thing. You want to be able to record in a place where you don't have your kids running around, or a dog, or any of that stuff. The three really important steps. You want to filter out unwanted external sound. First thing you're going to look at is your door. That's where a lot of your sound is going to come in into and escape from. Cracks under the door, just a plastic sweep, fairly simple. Add drywall and insulation on top of existing walls to help reduce that sound transmission. And then handle the remaining noise with those soundproof panels. You can use mattress covers, you can use carpets, you can use sound baffles, whatever you need to do. There's some great do's and don'ts on soundproofing a room on the Voices blog. I'm going to throw this into the chat as well. Soundproofing your space. There we go. Some really cool do's and don'ts. Do improve the room acoustics by using combination measures that address absorption and diffusion. You don't want to get rid of all the sound. This is where it took me this when I was first on board here and learning all this stuff. You don't want to get rid of everything in the room, because then your voice, you almost hear too much. You hear all your voice pops, and you hear yourself. You hear anything going on. It'll keep you from moving in too far, too close. 702 Orange Corning. That's right. Don't over soundproof it. You want to avoid having the whole room look like it's covered in panels. You want to have that high-end sound that is left. The fabric panels don't just take out bass sound, they take out everything, leaving spacing between the panels if you're going to be adding fabric paneling instead of insulation. If you don't have that spacing, it sort of sounds as though you're recording in a box of tissues, which is a good way to put it. You don't want to make the room sound dull. But you do want to strive for silence. You want to dampen extra noise, fridges, air conditioning, traffic outside. I'm thinking of things that I know you could probably hear in my house right now, because my kitchen is over my left shoulder. Those sort of things. If you're doing meeting calls, if you're talking to friends, not going to matter. But if you are auditioning for a high-end client trying to get national work, it is going to matter if you can hear background noise, if you can hear somebody cutting the lawn, if you can hear somebody downstairs or upstairs running around. You're going to have to re-record it. Maybe you lose a great take. Really going to want to strive for silence. So maybe it feels silly, but try throwing a blanket over your head. You'll get rid of the unwanted noise within the room. Differentiate between room ambiance and noise floor before you turn the mic. Open it up. Your room should measure around 68 to minus 70 decibels. That's the electronic noise from your microphone and the recording equipment. And echoes, that's right. Echoes too. Oh my goodness, echoing. I can only imagine the echoing. So that is sort of the idea of how you can do it on a budget. You can, of course, you can do a whisper room. You can buy the whole whisper room, or you can just grab some soundproof panels. You can get a 12-pack of wedge panels for about $30, it looks like, or a 50-pack for about $100. Depending on where you look, you can just grab some soundproof wall panels, 12 by 12, depending on what you're doing, all that stuff. The price goes up and down. It's harder to. It's not like microphones where there's brands and sort of things. It's soundproof panels are sort of they work the way that they work. Quality microphones, quality technology, quality computer, quality recording space. That is the stuff you need. Other accessories and small things, as we mentioned, pop filter can be really important. That sort of thing can really come in handy, or getting yourself that new audio recording equipment. So that's it. That's about all I have. I tell you, I'm thinking I need to buy new headphones. That is what I have figured out for myself. We went through headphones, we went through microphones, we went through software, we went through what you can put in your room, as well as some audio interfaces. Hopefully, folks, you learned something. I really appreciate you spending your Friday afternoon with me here on the YouTube, voices.com YouTube. It is youtube.com/voices. Drop us a subscribe. Get new videos. We have all kinds of new stuff coming in. Let us know in the comments if there's anything new you would like us to cover. The clap test works well. Yes, indeed. Anything you can do to record in your space and get an idea of that noise floor and get an idea of the ambiance and whether it echoes, whether it jumps out. Run those tests before you start auditioning for Shure. That is it for another month of office hours. There will not be one in December because I believe the last Friday of December is Christmas Eve. And I'm already taking your American Thanksgiving. I wouldn't want to also take your Christmas Eve to sit here and listen to me talk. One more time, my name is Andrew. I'm the community manager here at Voices. I really appreciate your time today. If you have more to say or questions or comments or anything you want to talk about in the world of audio, drop by the community forum, community.voices.com. Talk to your peers. Talk to folks who are in the biz. Talk tech. Talk wish lists. Talk shopping. Talk auditions. Talk whatever you would like to talk about. community.voices.com. That is it for another month. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the points, all the different products. I hope you have an excellent weekend, a happy Thanksgiving, a great Black Friday, and yeah, that's it. Have a great weekend.